Wow. It's all ramp damage too. That's the craziest part. Like, this is just the start. Get everything ramped up with Devour and with Scourge. I just saw 6 billion and it's not even fully ramped. This is nuts. This is actually insane. This is literally insane. Holy motherfucker. Sorry for my language, but this is like, this is what I was trying to do. Oh my mind, dude. Wow, this is like, rare missing name. Hello, what did that just say? Wait till I have a 15%. Like, my aspects are dog shit too. That's the best part of this right now. My aspects are ass. If I had a 15% interdiction, that would increase my damage 33%. Can you imagine timesing this by 33? What the fuck? Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Woo! That janky shell, dude. That thing is scary, dude. Yeah, so basically, like I said, just interdiction alone will times my damage by 33% if I was to get a full a max roll from where I'm at now. Just that alone. I lost my stacks because I was fucking around. Channeling pylon is the literal dream. I had that for the boss. Yeah, this is nuts. That's the dream right there. That was a 106. I don't know how fast it was, but I mean, bro, we can go well beyond this, obviously. And the craziest thing, dude, okay. I literally, this is exactly what I was trying to do. It's been quite the, it has been quite the freaking process though, huh? Wow. I'm just like, I'm in awe that we actually pulled it off. I mean, that literally felt as close to permavade as I could possibly get. In that boss fight, there was not even a single hiccup. Like, when I'm stopping is to cast like Touch of Death and or Devourer or whatever. There's not really, I didn't feel like I ran out of evades like at all. And I mean, that's huge, right? Even on the boss fight. And that's been like the pickle of like trying to make the two-hander work. But yeah, I think we definitely got it figured out. For the most part. I mean, there's so much more yet to be had though. The best part about this is, I'll break it down because this is it. This is, if you guys want to try it before the nerf happens, apparently there's a nerf coming for evade just in general. But I'm to the point now in the build, even aside from this, I don't know how much damage I was doing there. I didn't see the numbers. I know they're insane, like high for evade. But even if I use Sepizantec, so basically, well, I was trying a bunch of different things. I'm going to try to add this in next over Janketh, because when you see my health go down, that's because of that. So yeah, I'm still trying things. Obviously adding the Resolve Tech into the build. So keep in mind, obviously evade, there's probably build after build guide after build guide on this stuff. But so like, it's not, you know, obviously this isn't any original idea or anything like that, but there's a lot of different variants out there, and you know, you can kind of pick and choose what flavor is best for you, I guess. And for me, like I said, I don't know, I like to do things, I guess not necessarily different, but I just like to understand everything, right? Like I try and test a lot of stuff, and I'll say that this season seems super hard to just simply test what I want to test, like the resolve stacks and all that. I mean, it's so hard to masterwork gear, and tempering. I feel like tempering isn't as difficult because of the scrolls. The scrolls are a big W in my opinion from the expansion. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I've only bricked, I think, one item so far. No, two. I've bricked two items so far. One was from greed, and the other one was just a pure, like, it was just bad luck. So big improvement there. And it's, obviously you still can brick, right? But it just feels a lot better overall, at least from what I've done so far. But keep in mind, like I said, it's been pretty hard for me to get pieces. Finding, you know, GA gear is a little bit more difficult, which I'm not really against that, honestly. I'm okay with it being harder to get the gear, but the only real downside, at least for me, because again, I like to fully understand and try to know what's happening so I could try to build on it or make it better or improve it, whatever. And that's anything I play, whether it's, you know, my main or it's just what I'm just experimenting, whatever. I like experimenting and understanding. And it's just been really hard to do that, like I said, just because of mats. I'm starved for, honestly, mostly my rawhide is at 150. Luckily, I did have some iron issues earlier when it was like jewelry and weapons, but now I'm into like this stuff, and yeah, I'm just starved for that. Luckily, the Forgotten Soul, another W on the season. There's a lot of W's, but there's still some, you know, some dislike, at least for me, dislikes. The biggest dislike, again, and I'm not, I agree. Some people in my chat have talked about, you know, you don't want the season to be over in 2 weeks. I agree, but I also want to be able to at least do some basic stuff. I'm not talking getting perfect roll, triple roll, crazy, you know. I'm talking even getting stuff to rank 12 is, it's been a bit, I mean, a lot of that was because of the souls, but now that the souls got fixed, now it's, like I said, now it's the rawhide. So, but anyways, aside from that, this is definitely where I wanted to get to in terms of being able to get the damage that I wanted to get. Nowhere near Quill. Don't get me, like, obviously nothing is going to touch Quill, but I'm doing billions and billions and billions of damage, and there's a lot more in the tank. Like I said, my interdiction alone is only 10%. Imagine that extra 5%. That's another what, 33? Like I said, over 30% more right just from that. Because a lot of the season, and it doesn't matter what you're playing Spiritborn wise, interdiction combined with redirected force is kind of the bread and butter of whether it's Quill, crushing hand, or whatever it's called, evade. It's all, that's where that's the bread and butter of the season, really. And that's why everybody's going in after the 150 clear that Rob shared, of the dude doing the 150 clear and stacking the resolve stacks. It makes sense when you actually think about it, because like I said, the way everything is working. And honestly, so I think the hiccup, or why it took a minute for people to figure out, A, is like I said, it's kind of hard to test things, and B, most people, myself included, are going to assume block chance caps out at 100, but that's where, again, by now everybody knows that. Like I said, there's guide after guide talking about this stuff. But again, no matter what you're playing, you just want to utilize that the best you can, right? And Quill, a lot of that's doing overpower, stuff. Mine is not. And like I said, just trying to make it fit your needs or what you're trying to do. The biggest problem with evade and using a two-hander, which I'm sure most people that have tried it, is keeping your evade stacks up without using Sepizantek, right? So even still, so this being said, I just did that 106 pretty fast. It felt really smooth. Again, this is just, I'm literally just out here testing. But I still, like, if I'm out in the health side, or if I'm, helping somebody or whatever, I still do put on Sepizantek, because like I said, for me personally, where I'm at with the build, my version, like my, I'm 250 Paragon now, so I'm kind of juiced up in my Paragon, and my gear is finally getting, decent, right? But I still use Sepizantek, and I'm at the point of doing, I'm reaching 1 billion. That's when Devourer is fully up and stuff like that, though. So keep in mind, Devourer is huge, and the big part of that is because, so if you can do it fast enough, that's what Paragon. So if you could do the Devourer fast enough, which I'm using Jankith right now, but again, a lot of this is in other guides. Devourer, you want to get the cooldown to right around 15 seconds to get the full potential of it. But when you're using Jankith, you don't actually, honestly, I could probably take this point out and put it somewhere else, but I'm to the point now where I don't even know, really, there's not much left for me to, I guess I could put it over here. Nah, that doesn't matter either, because I'm using Gorilla now too. So I don't know. Anyway, so yeah. Anyways, I'm kind of getting sidetracked because my mind is all over the place right now. I'm trying to think, like I said, I'm in the middle of testing, so I'm thinking of what I should change and whatever. So I'm getting sidetracked. My mind is like going a million miles an hour right now, because I'm excited with what I just saw, and I'm still trying to think, like, I know there's a lot more yet, especially again, just aspect wise. My aspects aren't the greatest. Some of them are decent now. Again, I'm getting there, but anyways, the Devourer. So if you just initially cast the Devourer, it stacks up 10 times. But if you can basically get it back to back to back, like once it goes away, get it back out, you can get it all the way up to 30 stacks. And that's why it is as strong as it is. And I prefer it over like the Hunter or whatever for what I'm doing. Like I said, we just did it with that, felt super smooth, exactly what I was hoping for. But yeah, Devour is huge for me, at least. I really wanted Devour to work in it, and like I said, it's been a struggle getting enough lucky hit and finding out what you need to do in order to keep the evades up, especially for the boss fight, right? Like I said, the boss fight is kind of the hardest part in terms of, like, at least it has been for me, of keeping the evades up. If you got plenty of mobs around, it's not that bad. Granted, my exhilaration, I got that upgraded finally. I had a pretty bad one before this. Even this isn't, I mean, I got a lot more in it yet, 9% more on the top end, and that make it even better. Honestly, if I get a better, like if I get a perfect roll, I'll probably put it down on, or at least try to put it down on a ring and then put something else on the amulet for more damage, right? But that's when, like, we'll see, again, just in the middle of testing everything. But anyways, I'll just run through the gear. I keep talking. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, but I just trying to explain my thoughts, like what I'm thinking and where I'm at on like what I'm trying to do, if that makes sense. Because like I said, there's a lot of info out there. There's a lot of good info out there. A lot of the info that I've learned a lot when as I've been trying to figure this out. Like Woody, that dude, I mean, that dude is a brainiac. Shout out to him because he definitely has a lot of valuable testing. Like Rob has like a spreadsheet and everything. Woody is the same. Like they're just so good at testing and figuring out, okay, this isn't working, that isn't, you know. And another thing I will say before I like go over the gear and stuff, keep in mind a lot of aspects, if you don't know, a lot of them do not work with the Spirit Hall. So trying to do the evade, you know, Eagle Spirit Hall and stacking that and figuring out what works with it and whatnot. Like I said, it's been hard. I literally was through my testing, I was to the point I couldn't even put on aspects because I was out of souls, right? Until they fixed the Forgotten Soul issue. I was having troubles even putting on different aspects to test the aspects. And that's what I mean. It's just just feels clunky in the sense of like trying to figure out and do what I want to test and whatever. But like I said, the Forgotten Soul, whatever, that got fixed. Big W. Things are getting a little bit better in that sense. If they could do something about the rawhide, then we're really chilling. But yeah, anyways, a lot of stuff does not work with the Spirit Hall. Like Edgemaster, for example, does not work. Unyielding, I actually just found out today that Unyielding, I just assumed it did, and that's one of the ones I overlooked because I was trying every other one. Unyielding does not work with Evade apparently, and when I went and tested it, it looked to be true. So yeah, just a lot of stuff. It's never safe to just assume things work, right? You literally, even the ones that you would think, you know, do or should, still got to test them. But anyways, so yeah, so what I'm doing for at the moment, and like I said, I'm probably going to be changing a lot of stuff. I'm trying to add in the Resolve Stack tech, which again is not something I came up with, but trying to utilize it because again, no matter what you're playing, it is so strong. So I put on a helmet, Resolve Stack, of course, Dex Max Life, and you'll see I'm using all resist. So I dropped Unyielding. I was actually up to the 3350 mark, which would cap Unyielding if it was on an amulet. I was at that point, but once I discovered, or I didn't even discover it, once I was told, somebody in my chat actually shared that with me. I think it was Justin. I think it was, but anyways, yeah, somebody shared with me in chat that Unyielding wasn't working. Went and tested it. I was like, oh, okay, well, now we can shift gears, whatever. So instead of having armor on every piece, I now have all resist. Not on there. I'm using Fist of Fate for the lucky hit. And that's another thing too. I'm going to see if I can get rid of these and use these and make that work and just completely utilize every possible aspect. And I'm going to try to do like stacking CC aspects, right? So that when I stagger the boss, I can just delete the boss. That's kind of what I would like to do. If I can pull it off, we'll see. But for now, like I said, I'm using apprehension on the helm, and that's for the 35 times because it's one of the bigger ones. I was using the Morass one, which isn't a bad one either, but I just, again, from a stagger perspective, I kill stuff really fast, and because I use Scourge, I actually get a lot of value from that 35 times. So that's why I'm prioritizing that over Morass at the moment. But if I could put that back in, like I said, if I could swap these out, that'd be ideal. But yeah, so then Jankith, and the reason for that is to get my cooldowns back faster to keep them up. Because if I have every ability up and I hit, especially like the boss with the Touch of Death, all them lucky hits are what are allowing me to essentially do the perma evade with the two-hander. So again, keep in mind, if you're out just, you know, if there's no mobs around at all, you know, you're gonna eventually run out. You can see I'm even still getting some back, but as long as there's at least one mob, you should be fine when you have everything up. Like I said, that run you just saw, I didn't have a single hiccup even on the boss fight. Anytime I was stopping, it was either to put on Touch of Death or like Cast Devour or Scourge. That was, like I said, I was yeah, I'm still super excited. I'm gonna do another run after this. Probably put what did we probably unlock 5 levels. I'm just gonna keep going +5 and see where it goes. But anyways, yeah. So Jankith for the cooldown reduction to get it back. It is a little scary at times because, like I said, when you after you kill a pack, if there's nobody else by you, your health starts dropping real quick. But as long as you keep moving and you hit a target, it shoots right back up. So again, Fist of Fate, doing that mainly for the lucky hit. The crit chance is nice as well. I am at 100% crit chance. You'll see I have crit chance here, crit chance, you know, everywhere I can get it. So I'm at 77%, but that is with the potion. But I'm at 77%, and then I'm using Surgar, which gives me the 25 times. So again, I'm at that 100% crit chance, and that's not including Mirage. But Mirage to me, whenever you dodge, I don't know. I feel like, not that there's no value in it. It's just not. It doesn't have 100% uptime. At least it doesn't feel like that to me, based on what I'm seeing. You know, I'm seeing non-crits, and doing what I'm doing now, having the 77 straight up with the potion, and then having that 25 times, it guarantees 100% uptime all the time. And I have been trying switching that around too. That's the thing. I've been doing a lot of trying different rune words and just different things to get more lucky hit even and whatever. But this by far so far felt the best. But yeah, if I could swap these two out, like I said, I'd really like to. Interdiction, bread and butter. Like I said, if I could get that extra 5 times, I can't even. Oh my gosh, my damn, I like literally blows my mind to think how much more damage just that single thing alone could potentially get me. And then obviously if I triple crit my resolve stacks, I mean that's huge increase there too. Boots, I'm using exploiters, and like I said, actually you see I'm using all resist, max life, dex, and pretty much anywhere I can get it. Exploiters, the reason I'm doing that is because I have so much CC that when elites, after the elites, you know, go unstoppable when you're pushing the higher tier stuff, that 40 times, dude, it feels so good. I actually did that even a couple seasons ago. Like I put, like when I was pushing higher, you know, end content, that exploiters low key, I mean, it's so strong. If you can't kill the elites in one go and they go unstoppable, you really can, like that 40 times, you can see it when it kicks in. At least it felt like, if I know it felt like it before. I got to do some more testing to make sure it's actually working. Because again, this, for whatever reason, the Spirit Hall stuff is very, very wonky, and a lot of stuff isn't actually working. But so far, like it feels like it is. And then for the staff, I have, this is just what I found. GA dex, GA damage, and then crit strike damage. I honestly, the damage isn't terrible, and it's GA, so I'm going to keep it. Maybe would probably take Vaughn over straight damage if I had the choice, but the tempers on this thing luckily were insane, and yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm using the bulwark, of course, for the barrier, again for the resolve stack tech, because it's all about getting that barrier up. And you'll see, I think I should be, where's my barrier percent? Barrier bonus. So I'm actually not even capped right now, but that's because I took off, once I put this on, if I can, I'll be at, because this isn't my knowledge, but according to, I think it was Rob, he shared the barrier bonus for the max for your target is 120, right? Something like that. 120, 123, something in there. I'm shooting for 120 plus, and not trying not to go too far over, because just to min max a little bit, but I'm almost there, but not even quite. If I can swap this out with that, boom, I'm right where I need to be. So again, we'll see. We'll see where I can get with it. Yeah, and then of course redirected force. That, like I said, redirected force in combination with your interdiction, block chance. That's why when you use your armored hide with another 100, you know, percent, like it's just insane how hard that all that scales when it comes to the block stuff, in combination with the redirected force. And that luckily I got a pretty good roll on that aspect. I really, like I said, I can't even imagine. I hope I get a 15% just to see the difference going from a 10 to a 15, because I know it's gonna be a lot. And then for now, like I said earlier, On my amulet, I'm doing exhilaration just because the roll on it, it's not terrible, but it's not, you know, it's not a high roll. I would call that like a mid roll, right? So it just feels smoother for me for now. If I get a better roll, I'd probably swap that out with like probably conceded, or I had a curse touch on here, but I ended up putting it on here. This is something I also need to test and something in check, because I'm just doing the best I can with my own testing and using other people's, you know, stuff they've shared, like Rob, Woody, people like that. And then people from my chat have also been helping me try to put this all together and piece it all together. And so there, like I said, there's a lot of different info all coming all from all over the place, compiling it, trying to make it work. And this is the first true, like, at least for me, this felt like exactly what I was hoping for. So a cursed touch, that was another thing shared with me that honestly, I would not have picked it. But according to, I'm not sure who they said they got the info from, Scream something. I want to say, I want to give credit to people that have done work and figured stuff out that has been shared with me. Like I said, I didn't get this from that source, but somebody from my chat shared it with me. That and again, I might be wrong in that. I'm not sure, but the curse touch apparently helps with triggering more lucky hit for your evades. And like I said, I threw it on, and like I said, I did a lot of stuff before I came in here, but it might be true. I can't confirm that or deny that because I'm not, again, not entirely certain. But with so many aspects not working the way it's supposed to with buffing the damage, like I said, I'm not really missing out much at the moment. Like I said, while I'm testing at least, but yeah. So a curse touch, I'm not going to say it doesn't, but I'm not going to, like I said, I can't really confirm it because I just threw it on right before I came in, and I'm not sure yet. Once I take it off and do a few more runs, you know, I'll be able to gauge a little bit better on that. And then for the stats on most of my gear is all the same, right? I should have mentioned, you know, Dex, Max Life, Crit, Dex, Max Life, Crit. Even on here, you know, Max Life, Crit, Dex, everywhere I can get it essentially, except for on my armor pieces where I would initially have had armor to get my unyielding cap. I'm using the all resist and trying to, you know, my resists are actually really good considering I'm not using Tyrios or anything like that, right? I do have 2 gems here too. I have 1 gem in there. Like I said, I got to stay above the 1K, right? But all in all, like I said, it's coming together, feeling really good. Shout out to everybody that has helped in the chat. You know, multiple people, multiple sources, any of the other people testing stuff that I've seen. And there's too much all over the place really to name everybody, but because like I said, there's a lot of people sharing a lot of good info and just trying to put it all together and make it happen. So that being said, I also heard from chat. I haven't seen this myself, but my chat is a very good source of information. Shout out to you guys, all y'all, all the time, coming in, helping figure things out, and you know, keeping me up to date. But one of the downsides of this is, hopefully this isn't too little too late. I don't know when the nerf is supposedly happening. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully we get at least like a week or so, because like I said, I'm just feeling like I'm just getting to where I want to get with it. But yeah, and maybe it won't even actually get nerfed too bad. I think it's just something with the animation is broken right now or something, and they're gonna fix that. So maybe, hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't actually kill the build. I'm sure it'll, you know, it might nerf it a little bit, but as long as it doesn't kill it, I'm okay with it. If it kills it, that's gonna suck, right? But yeah, anyways, so gear wise, skill wise, or aspect wise, and rune wise, that's where we're at with things at the moment. In terms of the skill tree, I'll probably be tuning this a little bit. Like I said, the Devourer, I could move that point somewhere else. Got to take the 4 points here. Of course, accelerated for the evade, but the 4 points there is to get to the next because you don't get anything over here. Max Unrestrained, Max Mirage, I max Focal Point, Max Apex, Max Diminishment. Ravager, Replenishing Ravager for the extra hits. Perseverance, no question, with the Resolve stacking, is absolutely insane. Endurance, I actually only have 1 point in that to get to that. The extra 5 is coming from, I believe, Jackinth. So like I said, I actually only have 1 point in that just to get to Perseverance. I do have Armor Hide Max to get the 2 resolve every 5 seconds, which isn't, you know, it is what it is, but it's more so just to get the cooldown as far as possible. And that's because like I said, I don't really need to move much else anymore, and B, I'm gonna try to get rid of Jankith. Right, with Jankith you really don't need to get the CDR because it's so fast. But then again, as I'm talking about this, yeah, lower CDR is better because, you know, if you can get through the CDR faster, you're not taking as much of that life damage, right? If you play it right, you can use all your abilities and then watch, like, you know, you get a little bar above here for each of these for their duration. So you don't have to actually sit there and spam it per se. Armored Hide I would though, because, you know, you get that 100%, which is a big damage increase, but it only lasts, mine lasts 6.63 seconds. And that's because, oh, I should have mentioned that in my amulet, you see I have Armored Hide activation duration, or active duration. The reason for that is to give me more uptime with that 100%. And then I have dex percent, crit chance, and of course that's where all my armor comes from. I should have mentioned that. Storm potency for tempers everywhere I can get it. This I have defensive cooldown, again, that's because that helped get this down a little bit more. So I got the cooldown a tad bit, you know, a few seconds, and then I added more duration on there. And that's the purpose of that, if you guys are wondering on the temper side of things. Other than that, you know, the tempers are you know, pretty standard. The Devour with Storm Feather, potency anywhere I can get it. And then of course the barrier generation with the max resolve on here, right? Barrier generation, a vague cooldown reduction there, because again, just to help get them back faster. It's kind of the point of that. So, but yeah, back to the skills. So from Armored Hide, then I got one here, you get the 3 Inauspicious, of course, counter attack. And you see, I do have counter attack, but I don't have it on my bar. I don't use it because A, I'm so tanky, I don't feel like I need to, and B, I want to get hit, because a big part of redirective force is, if you read the bottom part, blocking doubles the bonus for 10 seconds, right? So if I was spamming the counter attack, that makes you dodge most stuff, and I actually don't want that. And I also am using Touch of Death for the extra lucky hit, right? It's a 43% lucky hit. But yeah, so just an FYI, but you do want that for the 30 times, of course. And as far as I know, that you still get the, even if this isn't on your bar, I believe, I could be wrong, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you get the 30 times. If not, then we'll have to adjust. I'll have to test that and find out, but pretty sure you do. Could be wrong though. Scourge, the reason for that is the fear for apprehension. What is it? Apprehension. Yep. That goes really well together. But then also, if you read Enhanced Scourge, each time you hit an enemy with Scourge, you gain 1 times increased damage versus crowd control, up to 50 times damage. Insane. That's insane. And then adaptable, of course. Resilient 3, 1 in dominant, and that's mostly for the chance to execute, or it was. I'm not using concussive stomp anymore though, so I don't know, we'll have to see. But again, my points are so, I'm probably gonna move this around a little bit. I'm probably gonna actually put this on YouTube. So if anybody on YouTube is watching this, I will have any of the polishing I'm doing, because again, this is just any guides I do or anything, like this is just off the top of my head. I'm going through it, and if I put it on YouTube, I put it on YouTube. Like I feel, you know, if it's worth it, I'll probably put this on there. So like usual, like I said, any of the changes, polishing, in the comments, I'll put the actual, I'll have a guide and a link to it. And whatever I feel is best, I'll make changes in that, right? But yeah, brilliance for sure. And then acceleration, I get 3 into acceleration for the extra evades, just to make it again feel smoother. And in my boots, I also actually do the max evades too. I think I saw some people doing attacks reduce evade, but I prefer just straight up max. It feels better to me. And again, according to, from what I've seen and what I've heard, the 30 times you don't that doesn't actually work with Spirit Hall. At least it didn't seem to last time I checked it out. I checked a lot of this stuff out though when I was a lot less geared. Now that I'm way more geared and tuned, I'm gonna have to go redo and retest a lot of stuff just to make absolute sure. potent. Use that with Ravager, right? And Touch of Death, that is again mostly for to proc lucky it, more chances to get your evades back. Supremacy, that is where, that's actually the Devourer. I see, again, sorry, I apologize if I'm all over the place. It's because again, this is all off the top of my head, just trying to go through it, and I had a lot, especially like right after the run. I was so excited, and my mind was racing like a million miles an hour, like, okay, what else can I do? What else should I be doing? But then I also wanted to talk about it. So, but anyways, the Devourer, what I was talking about earlier, you can actually get it beyond the 10 stacks if you have enough CDR to do so. You can get it all the way up to 30. That's where that comes into play. And you get the 3 times 30 stacks of 5 supremacy. But again, with Devourer, you get all the way up to 30. And it's just an insane damage boost. And that's why I prefer it. Like Hunter, the Hunter has more lucky hit, right? And it might make evades a little bit better and whatever. But I don't know. Again, the Devourer damage, you can feel it ramp up. You literally, like I talk about, the build has a lot of ramp up. The more you go through, because you have the ramp up from Scourge, you have the ramp up from Devourer, and by the time you get to the end of the dungeon, you are just absolutely just, it's insane. But yeah, Devourer, like I said, I don't really get anything extra there. Maybe if I got enough points, like I said, I want to rework, maybe just to do, I don't know. I don't feel like you actually need that. Again, this is more so to stack up your ultimate, more than anything. And then Vital Strikes, that's what I'm using at the moment, just for the 45 times. But I don't know, I might play around with some of these at some point too. It just probably honestly ain't gonna have enough time if it does actually get nerfed to the ground. That being said, if it just gets nerfed but it's still usable and still fun to play, I'll keep pursuing the build and making changes and adapting it. Hopefully that's what ends up happening. But I guess, like I said, we'll see. And then for the Paragon, I'm going to say straight up, right out the gate, this, and I'm going to, again, anybody, if I have this on YouTube, anybody watching, the comments, I will switch this. So don't be alarmed. Like if you go to the build guide link in the comments and it looks different, it's essentially going to be the same thing, but I'm going to rework it for you guys because holy shit, I wish I would have had Vicious Shield like my first node rather than my last. After I leveled, I want to say it was 229. I got all the way to 229 Paragon, and that was, I finally reached my final legendary node. I am not exaggerating, just putting that on and with like really bad gear, it literally like 5-6 times more damage just putting that point in alone. So yeah, I'm gonna try to move that, like I said, either here or here for sure, somewhere in here, because it was insane. But that's where, again, where all that barrier generation, the barrier stuff, the resolve stacking, it all goes hand in hand. Vicious Shield is one of the strongest legendary nodes. Max with the resolve stacking, with, you know, with redirected force and interdiction, like all of this combined is what makes, you know, any Spiritborn build just absolutely insane. And then also another thing I'll say, Colossal. I wasn't using Colossal, and so obviously I started stacking Resolve. But if you're not using Colossal, I don't know, somebody share with me why you would not use this if you're stacking Resolve, because you get the 2 times increased damage for each stack, right? And what is the max stack? Like 49 or something, I think is the absolute max, like the perfect scenario. But I'm already at, I believe I'm at 28 at the moment, and if I put on, or no, am I? I feel like I'm at 30. I'm at 28 or 30. So like, I'm only like halfway there, right? And then like I said, I get interdiction. Imagine I have 49 stacks. Maybe it's 39. I'm pretty sure it's 49. But imagine I had all the stacks, and then like I said, I had the 15%. Like, dude, there's so much more damage to be had that I could see. It's just unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable to think about. Again, not nowhere near the Quill build, but I prefer the mobility and just the overall, you know, vibe of this, and that's why I'm sticking with Evade. And I'll try to ride it out, like I said, even after the nerf. Hopefully it doesn't kill it, because I love high mobility, like the animations, like stuff like that. I'm playing the game to enjoy it. Not that I don't like, you know, obviously I like metas and whatever, but at the end of the day, I want to play what fits my style the most. And the good thing about Spiritborn is we all kind of knew it was going to be cracked in the expansion, right? But there are multiple flavors to be had, which is a good thing. But I don't think anything's touching Quill in terms of pure damage. But not, like I said, obviously I'm finding a lot of damage. I know there's a lot more to be had for evade. So hopefully, knock on wood, like I said, evade doesn't get butchered, but we shall see. But yeah, Colossal, like I said, no question. I don't know why you wouldn't do that if you're doing the resolve tech. And like I said, I actually had Canny here, swapped that out with Colossal, and I did have Canny in that spot. That's why it's just the easiest thing for me to do. And then over into this is Convergence is what I started with, and then I put Jagged Plume. That's for the Eagle, like Spirit Hall. This is one of the strongest glyphs you can possibly get. So I got that one, you know, as soon as I could there, and it's maxed out. Over into Fulminate, and again, lightning damage, the lightning times from the legendary. It's scaled super hard, and I know it's additive, but I'm telling you, when I was testing that lightning damage, because you have so much multiplicative like lightning damages just in your like, see that Talon has lightning multiplicative damage. Obviously Fulminate itself has lightning. I think there's the other one, wasn't there? Or maybe, no, was it Candy? No, it's this one. Yeah, there's lightning damage. Like, it's scaled super hard. I'm telling you, each point I literally tested, like taking a point out and putting it in, and it is, yeah, it's juicy. So yeah, I stick with Fulminate in the drive because obviously moving as fast as we're moving, that stacks up super quick. Spirit for the crit damage, of course. A lot of the honestly, I might try to find even more crit damage just in, like, I don't know, we'll see, because the way things are scaling, crit damage I feel like is obviously important as well. And then sapping, this honestly I have not tested since the start, and I kind of, now seeing all the stuff I'm seeing not working, I kind of want to go make sure that sapping is working. If not, like I said in the guide, if I discover that sapping is doo-doo and it's not working, the updated guide will reflect that. But as of right now, that's what I'm using. And then over into Vicious Shield, and again, by far one of the strongest nodes. It felt like I'm not exaggerating, it felt like I 5 or 6 times more damage instantly just putting that on. And I didn't even have like barrier generation or anything at that time, and it still felt that crazy. And then Talon, of course, for lightning, and the eagle damage for the Spirit Hall is what I'm doing. So, and then for rare nodes, again, it's just as much, you know, armor, resist, max life type stuff I can get for the most part for the rare stuff. And then for the actual Spirit Hall itself, I'm using Eagle and then Gorilla. Again, more resolve stacks, but also the Unstoppable, which goes hand in hand with power. What is it? Unrestrained power. And it's just nice not to get CC'd when you're trying to, you know, move super fast. So yeah, all in all, I think that's it, right? Spirit Hall. Oh, Mercenary. As of right now, I'm doing just your standard, you know, shield charge, provoke with the 15 times for the taunt and the 15 times armor, right? And then for this, as of right now, I'm just doing that for more. I might play around with this and try, you know, but for actually, I should probably be doing knockdown, especially I'm actually going to swap that to knockdown. I didn't need the knockdown before because I was using concussive stomp through the rune words like a lot of other builds. But now that I'm, like I said, I'm dialing in my own, you know, thing for the most part as best I can. I got rid of that, and now I feel like, yeah. I think this will be better. I was using the harpoons just, again, to grip more stuff, more control, just kind of pull things. I like that type of vibe. If you guys watch me in AOZ, I didn't even play the whirlwind meta. I played Chains Hold. It's a fun thing. Again, not that I don't want to be super strong, whatever, but I do like having fun with it as well. You know, something like that. I don't know, but the knockdown might actually have a lot of value now. So yeah, mercenary wise, that's where we're at. We want our abilities, Spirit Hall, character. I think that's everything, right? This is kind of a little bit of a longer video, but like I said, I started off like just trying to speak my mind, my thoughts, where I'm at. I was kind of excited. I was a lot excited. Still am. But I'm also torn because of the nerfs that are potentially coming, so that's a little worrisome. But yeah, all in all, it's a blast. Hopefully you guys get to enjoy it. I don't know if you'll be able to get this far with it or not. If I swap out from, so the easier version, I would say that you don't, you know, because this, like I said, this took a lot of work and finesse to get it to where you can evade and not run out, essentially. But again, my version of this, when I swap out to Sepizantec, I get rid of Jacketh, of course, and I was using I'm not using that. I was using Tyraels, but honestly, I don't think you're gonna need it. I would use, you know, like I said, a legendary chest with more resolve stacks, with all resist on it, and you'll basically be at resist cap anyway, but you'll have way more damage. So like I said, and don't necessarily worry about the concussive strikes, because again, this is just kind of testing stuff. Keep in mind, I'll probably put 2 variants up. I'll put the, you know, the push, the super sweat pushing version, and then like the just blast, you know, Helltide farm, horde farm, like crazy super speed, easy mode, you know, 2 different versions. So like, again, for hordes and Helltides and whatever Sepizantec, I'm still hitting a billion per feather, a billion plus per feather, once it's ramped up, right? So it's super strong. It just deletes everything immediately. But yeah, I would highly recommend doing that over, like I said, use gloves, chests, just change those out. Really, these 3 things probably, for the most part, is all you really have to swap out. But then again, actually, if I have exhilaration in a perfect scenario, I'd have exhilaration on a ring, I believe, if I had a high enough roll. And then I just have an extra ring to swap out as well. That way I wouldn't have to mess around with, you know, because exhilaration essentially isn't going to do anything for you if you have Sepizantec on. And obviously you absolutely need to have redirected force for, you know, that really is, I don't know if the most important key to the whole thing, but yeah, probably. But I would, you know, put that on the amulet. Have a secondary amulet to swap out whatever. If you need to, just somehow swap some piece of jewelry so that you get rid of the exhilaration, because again, you won't need it if you have Sepizantec, and get your redirected force back on the amulet, however you need to do that. Again, for me, ideally, I would have exhilaration like here, right? And then I could just have an extra ring and swap out. And I could keep, well, no, that wouldn't work either, because I would have redirected force here. So actually, it'd be easier for most people to have a secondary amulet. And again, use your better amulet for your push version if you are trying to push. Or you could just swap it out. You could literally go to the occultist too. If you don't need a secondary one, but if you want to be lazy on the fly, have a secondary one to swap out, with one with redirected force, one with exhilaration. That'd be the easiest way to do it. And then you swap out those 4 pieces, boom, you're good to go. Whatever you're doing. You want to go push, put them on, good to go. You want to go Helltide, put them on, good to go, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Again, I'll have the 2 different variants, and I'll try to make it as easy as possible for like the swapping of like when I'm talking in the 2 guides, or like the shared guide or whatever. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, good luck with it. Hopefully we don't get nerfed to the ground and we can still enjoy it after the fact. So yeah, GG's. Good luck. Appreciate y'all, man.